No, break it. It's me and you and Twista. I'm going live here. Okay.
Okay.
All right, welcome to the Songcast.com presentation on Breaky CPK. Once again, going to be your shoutcasting host, and this time joining me is Phil, the Thrill, the Honcast app, as well as Twista of Clan U. You mad, brah? You know, he's formerly been on Druids, UNZ, whatever you know him from, but he's our competitive inside here, and this is the winners bracket finals of the GosuGamers tournament. We have Fnatic MSI taking on EG, the best in the West versus the best in the, the best in Europe versus the best in US going at it. This has been the matchup that everyone's been looking forward to, and MSI really dominating fashion, frankly. They're up 1-0 as a result. Very unique pick. They had a demented Shaman solo mid. Holy crap. Your mind has been blown. We'll see if there are any mind-blowing picks this time around as well. Well, like I said, looking forward to a great game, too. I'm sure we'll have a great one. Phil the Thrill, you're joining us this time. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing great. Thanks for very much for asking me to join you for game 2. You know, I watched the last game and was a little bit surprised on what happened, you know, because last weekend, obviously, we saw EG take a really dominating loss from Fnatic MSI, so I thought for sure that EG was going to come back and give us a really good performance here during game 1, but, you know, once again, Fnatic MSI, as you said before, they just completely overpowered EG in the last game with some very unique picks and unique strategy that more or less worked out for them, and you know, I really hope that we see EG kind of go back to the roots here and pick up that really ultra-aggressive style play.
Yeah, again, perfect way to put it. Again, it does seem like they've had more of a defensive mind, you know, kind of a sit-back and turtle-type game lately, and especially with the Defiler pickup, although, you know, you want to be aggressive there and push towers, but we haven't seen all the pebbles and the crazy, you know, bubbles pickups and just the crazy, really aggressive early-game heroes from them lately, it seems like, and like you suggested, definitely wouldn't mind seeing that once again. Heroes like Magnus, you know, he is still on the board, so curious to see if we see that. But picks already started, but again, also Twista, you're joining us. How you doing again, Twista?
I'm doing just fine, thanks for asking, Breaky. I can't really wait for Game 2. I really do hope that EG steps it up a bit and brings us a really good match.
Yeah, I cannot see them going 2 games in a row where, well, frankly, 3 games in a row at this point against Fnatic MSI. That would just be lopsided performances in favor of Fnatic MSI. So you got to think EG, I mean, whether or not they bust some crazy strategy or do whatever, they're going to be able to, you know, kind of do something off the wall here and maybe make some good things happen in their favor. We'll just have to wait and see as we're still waiting on the next couple of picks here for Fnatic MSI. But the bans have already finished, of course, so let's start with that. Again, Myrmidon, he is permabanned. Both teams agreed to permaban him for this event. With that said, we're looking at Bombardier, Dr. Repulsor, Behemoth, Pebbles, Pharaoh, and Moraxis. So Moraxis ban, interesting. I mean, it wasn't even played or picked up last game yet. This time around, decided to be banned. And then, of course, the Dr. Repulsor ban, that's the other different ban. With that said, we have heroes like Demented Shaman still on the board, oh my god, but, you know, we already talked about that. But, you know, there are some healers like Soul Stealer was banned last time, not banned this time around. And blanking on the other one, to be honest. I believe Devour was actually banned last time, but not banned this time around either. So there are definitely very aggressive heroes like we talked about. Magnus, Devour, that are left on the board. Pebbles even. Nope, Pebbles is banned, excuse me. But, you know, the Defiler last time. There, that's what I was talking about. Look at that. Holy crap. Oh my god, everyone started freaking out. Wow, it just happened. Unless that was a timer wearing out. But no, EG just went with a Wild Soul pick. Wild Soul in a competitive game. I think it's the first time we've ever seen a Wild Soul pick up. Or recently, at least. I mean, it's definitely been a long time with that said. Okay, so... but the bans, I mean, let's start with that real quickly. Comments on the bans real quickly, Phil. Uh-oh, I'm spiking again. My vent's freaking out. Hello? I'll probably get caught up.
Not really. I mean, they make sense. Even Moraxis kind of makes sense, though he was not banned last time, which you know, freed up the either, you know, Voodoo Jester and Soul Stealer were the other 2 bans, by the way, from the last game. But, you know, like, it doesn't not make sense because he's a very powerful hero, especially early on in the game. Once he picks up a portal key, he's a great initiator. Just has a lot to offer in a team type setup. But at the same time, I mean, nothing really too peculiar about these bans.
Yeah, very interesting right there. By the way, I was letting Vent catch up. Again, I spiked again. I don't know why Vent's having some issues, but yeah, very interesting picks. I mean, Twisted, though, before we jump into the picks, you have any comments to make real quick?
No, nothing really. All common bans. We see Dr. Paul's a ban now, and I think that was a good idea because he does tend to take over games, but apart from that, nothing special.
All right, so now both teams, they kind of went with some interesting pickups. More so EG, though. I mean, that's just a wow, what the hell type pickup. I mean, that's going to be really exciting to see how they play that Wild Soul, of course. But MSI, they had the lineup finished, so let's go over them. They went with Tempest, Soulstealer, Glacius, Slither, and Hellbringer. So obviously Tempest, that's the standout pick right there. He's going to be played by Fly, who, by the way, is Bot. He recently changed his name, of course, so that's why he's picking for them and everything. That is Bot, so for those of you that are curious about that. And yeah, so they go with Tempest. Tempest pick up here. Now, you would normally expect in the jungle, in this case, I mean, you would expect it as well. I mean, with the lanes, I mean, they definitely still have some powerful lanes with them jungling. It's going to be interesting, though, because obviously we're not going to be seeing the trial lane from Fnatic MSI, which is what we're so used to seeing them play. But instead, they're going with the jungling type lineup with the Tempest jungle. I mean, he can lane. He definitely is a powerful laner. We always talk about that. Just because you can jungle doesn't mean you necessarily need to jungle. But honestly, with their setup, you would maybe expect that, but it probably had something to do with as well with the Wild Soul pickup. I mean, figuring that the Hellborn team, they're going to go with the jungler themselves. Why not run a jungler ourselves and, try to take advantage of perhaps a very, 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 very powerful AoE lineup? I mean, that's something I just realized myself. Tempest, Soulstealer, Glacius, Slither, and they all have powerful AoE ultimates, so I think it's safe to say when it comes to team fights, initiation, ultimates, AoE, it's going to be huge for Fnatic MSI, but a very interesting lineup over here with the jungling hero. What is your reaction about the Legion team over here, Phil?
Well,
my event.
The first thing that I see is the amount of pure dominating push power that this team is going to have. It would not surprise me to see him not running in the jungle and instead running something with Slither. And maybe even Glacius, kind of like a weirder type tri-lane. They could run a 2-2-1, or they could run jungle. But they are going to have early push potential. You talk about the elementals, the wards from Slither, the early ability to nuke down those creep waves with Soulstealer, Hellbringer. Obviously, he maybe not so much in push potential as you might think, but Death Boil with the chaining effect, does give a little bit of creep clearing type of capabilities. The ultimate's there to protect as well. So they have a lot of different ways they can go with this. It looks like we are going to see a jungle, which is definitely strange as far as the current metagame. We haven't seen a whole lot of this, but you mentioned the good AoE synergy that they have, the good initiation synergy that they have. It's just a really good all-around team setup. Kind of old school, but it's one of those situations where you might say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And these are just a very, very solid lineup, powerful lineup. They do have good interrupting heroes, though, on EG side. If they decide to make the ultimate kind of their soul from Tempest, their sole choice for initiation, as Glacius may end up getting caught out here. Bubbles going to pour it in right after Glacius, and Glacius is going down to the top lane. One more attack, and that's going to be a Bloodlust being picked up there by Sabuska on Wild Soul. So EG stepping out to a very early 1-0 lead, and we're just going to have to see if they're able to keep this up. I mean, obviously, that's kind of the luck of the draw when you're playing a hero like Glacius if you get caught out like that. But overall, I mean, MSI, they just have a very good all-around powerful lineup.
They really do. Looking forward to seeing how it happens. Let's sync up real quickly. Currently in-game counter. I'm going at 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. Yep. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I was about 7 seconds ahead of you.
Yeah. Okay, so we're good to go now. All right, so Legion team, though. Now, Twista, your thoughts on the Legion team?
I've been scrimming a lot against MSI, and this strategy that they're doing right now, I've seen it in the past, and they play it to the full potential. It's pretty good setup, but right now they're struggling at top as Glaciers dies again. It's a really heavy AoE team with a lot of push, and they tend to do this all the time, so let's see how they do this game.
Yeah, you saw you talked about even the gank on Glaciers right there. Once again, it's already 2 deaths for him, but a good job from Tempest actually coming into this bottom lane and setting up a kill on Chipper right there for the Slither. So both the jungling heroes already really making their presence felt in the lanes even, and setting up some early kills. So well played. By the way, something to mention as well. EG, they actually in the very beginning of the game, you noticed that they were all clustered up in their well. They stayed there till like 40 or 30 seconds still remaining. So they stayed for a long, long time. But they were scouting with the courier. They wanted to know how the lanes were going to be set up, and in the end, after seeing how it was going to be set up, they decided to send, of course, the 2 top with the jungling Wild Soul, the solo mid and Wretched Hag, and then the solo bottom, of course, with Chipper. My curiosity now, again, the recent change to wards, and they now only cost 100 gold. So obviously, both Ward of Revelations and Ward of Sight only cost 100 gold. It's really, with these jungling heroes especially, really interested to see if we see more harassment with the wards as a result of that, and also with more counter warding going on. Again, you already see this creep camp stack or protected right here at the top lane, but in the bottom right now, none of the camps are actually protected. Whether or not that was because of a counter ward, I don't see any counter wards down, so I just believe that the Hellborn team, Chipper does have one ward aside on him, but he wasn't able to get down here to place it in any of the camps. So Tempest right now is actually getting some very good farm as a result of that. In fact, see him do some jungling at this one that would have been counter warded, but getting some nice little farm out of that. Bubble's going to initiate down here. They don't have really any CC though without Graveyard stuff for Witch Slayer. It is going to hit Hellbringer. Hellbringer's dropping fast. There goes the nuke. They get the kill right there. And also Soul Stealer in the meantime. He gets taken out by Chu playing Wretched Hag. A very, very powerful player-hero combination right there. And Soul Stealer being played by No-Tail. Talk about a powerful player-hero combination. He gets taken out. So EG, they're off to a much, much better start than last game. And currently up 4-1 in hero kills. But the Hellborn team now, and actually let's talk about them real quick. We haven't even talked about them fully yet. We got Wretched Hag, Bubbles, Wild Soul, Chipper, and Witch Slayer. A lot of W's over there. But a Hellborn team, how you liking them, Phil?
Well, I think this is much more down the kind of the path that EG would normally take. I mean, obviously, Wild Soul is a little bit of an exception, simply because we don't see him play, too often, if at all, in competitive play. I think last time we saw him was when he was being played by. What's that one guy from Empire? He used to. A lot of people think he's really good. He's overrated. Yeah, FAV. We've seen him play before, and unfortunately ended up losing with it. But we've seen the type of build that he's gone for, and he can be a very difficult hero to deal with. If you take the ultimate, build up some basically survivability items and some attack speed items, utilize all your skills in order to give you some pretty decent damage. I believe once he gets starts leveling up his wild, I believe it gives him basically what's the equivalent of a Sword of the High, so an extra 60 damage. And will really allow him to put some additional damage out onto heroes as the late game moves on. Obviously, the mobility bonus is going to give him a lot to work with because of once again using the wild, increasing the movement speed. Just such a powerful tool. And the plus 60 damage I was talking about is in the bear form when you click on it. Sorry, actually Glacier is being taken out here at the top again. Sabuska going to pick up that kill already. Moving out to 4 quick kills for Wild Soul. That's what you like to see. You want to carry. That's basically as difficult to use as Wild Soul. As for the rest of the lineup, though, Bubbles, Witch Slayer, Chipper, they all have great kind of lengthy initiation type tools. Bubbles, that he's got just such a great initiator, and it's going to be important for them to have this Chipper as they continue through the game. If they decide to use the Tempest ultimate, now Trixie actually is way far behind. Going to be able to take out this Witch Slayer. He's going to throw out a Graveyard Stun, and now Chipper is in a little bit of trouble as well. He'll be taken out, and that's going to be a double tap for Trixie on Slither. So already looking to push down this tower.
Are you kidding me?
Taken out, and looks like that'll be a. Is that going to be a smackdown? No, it's not. So. Trixie picking up a hat trick at the bottom lane, looking to push this defensive tower as early as possible. And this is just what we were talking about. I mean, they do have that early push potential from the team, and we saw how they're able to combine that with the Slither wards and the Tempest or elementals. And this defensive tower most certainly going to drop here. They're going to use the actually Wretched Hag coming in here. They're going to use the vulnerability. It's still going to be destroyed, but Trixie will be going down here, taken out. Actually, kill's going to go to Fuji Apples being played by, or playing that Witch Slayer. So
yeah, though I was watching that sequence.
They have a really good. Overall they have a really good push style team, like we were talking about. So
yeah, no, I was watching that sequence all the way through, and I mean the push is just crazy that they have. By the way, Sivuska getting another kill up here as he actually takes out Hellbringer. He's only level 3, but or excuse me, level 5. Well, I read the number wrong. So, but he's doing a good job right there. I mean, up at the top lane, it's several kills now. He's been up to 7. In fact, 5 hero kills. He's wow. I didn't think he had that many, but holy crap, he has been doing a really good job. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Solstice taking a lot of pressure. The haunts on him, slowing him down. The auto attack's coming out. There's that Sonar Scream, and that finishes off both of them. Chu with a double tap kill right there, and right now a 10-4 hero kill advantage in favor of Evil Geniuses. But again, this bottom lane, I mean, Slither and Tempest, it was ridiculous what they were doing down here. Chipper could absolutely do nothing, and then Witch Slayer even came into support, but we all saw what happened to him. He then had to run into the jungle where he eventually was sniped out by Slither, just spamming those wards and keeping the sight on him, and sure enough got him killed. So sure, the hero kill advantage is in favor of EG at this point, but at the same token, MSI, they are running to their strengths. They got that very early tower kill push around the 7-minute mark or so at the bottom lane, and now Slither working his way towards the middle lane. He's already placing up the wards, getting a defense built up. They're going to spam down this creep wave, and now, of course, they're going to push this middle tower. Glacius is also here, so they're going to start applying pressure. Will EG make the reaction? Currently, Chipper is the only one here. He has his ultimate, but not much he can do at this point. There are a couple of EG players coming over, but again, Slither doing what he does best, being played by Trixie, arguably the best Slither player in the world right now. He just knows where to place those wards. Perfect placement, gives him sight all over the place, as well as spammable harassment, and definitely doing, once again, a good job right here. But here goes the Hellborn team. They're going to look to jump in onto Solstice there. No port in from Bubbles right there. Really interesting. Gravius on hits. There goes the Rockets. Oh, it is going to be enough. They had to use the Chipper ultimate, but in the end, they get the kill. Wild Soul running in here as well, as he's trying to now chase down Slither with his bear minion right there. Wretched Hag ports right in front of him, putting out the auto attack. Slither, though, standing his ground, gets a couple of rockets in his face, but keeping the auto attacks up with a silver bullet from Witch Slayer. We'll take him out, but Witch Slayer gets a revenge killed right there as he goes down. Now Glacius dropping a half-life. Will Wretched Hag blink in and go for the kill? She wants to, but not going to go from at least that angle. Looking to run around, but Glacius in the jungle, knowing that she can blink in, only has 2 wards of sight on him, and that's it. Trying to stay alive right now, and Wretched Hag trying to cut him off. He gets a nice little blink right here. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. And Chu will end up falling back, so another fun sequence right there. But yeah, both teams kind of working to their strengths. More so aggressive gank style play from EG. I mean, they're getting that done. Already 12 hero kills, including 5 of those on Wild Soul. But the push is happening from Fnatic MSI at the same time. Twista, your thoughts on the Hellborn team? There's just been a lot of action so far. A lot of talking. Apologize for that. But your thoughts on the EG's lineup over here, Twista?
It's a lineup that we've never seen before, but we do tend to see it a lot in Dota. I'm not sure how much the community pays attention to that, but Wild Soul is picked up a lot in Dota and mostly soloed on a solo lane. But they did trial in at the top, and it seemed to be working for them because he does have 5 kills already and decent amount of farm. But they have a really all-around decent team with a lot of gank.
Is Wild Soul a hero that you would be really worried about in terms of getting the early kills that he's getting? I mean, in terms of getting the crazy farm that he's getting. Well, not necessarily crazy farm, but again, those 5 hero kills. I mean, is he a type of hero that if he gets that early farm that he could just really take over games like a true hard carry can?
Oh yeah, definitely. If it comes to the point where it's like the mid to late game and he has a decent farm, then he's a hero to be fed. Then again, you see MSI, they have such a heavy push lineup, so I don't know if we will get to see that point where Wild Soul will be so farmed that they can't handle it. But we'll see what EG is going to do here. They are currently pushing the mid tower.
We do have ports coming in. They're going to look to maybe push them back right here, catch them off guard. Soulstealer has an Invision actually activated as he ports in, but the Hellborn team falling back. Soulstealer, by the way, actually getting his ultimate already. Very interesting there. I don't know if that was because it was a situation that occurred and he thought he could have got an ultimate off or what, but he still has only level 3 soul steal, so of course we're used to seeing level 9 is when the ultimate is picked up, but Noto going a little bit different route here. He's going to run past his Ward of Revelation. However, there's an EG one right here, but Sliller doing what he does again and counter wards it pretty easily right there. So now running around, but again another Ward of Revelation placed down, and so they're falling back, but here goes the Tempest ultimate, catching 2 players, the nuke down with the Demon Hands, easy kills right there for the Legion team, and the Hellbringer ultimate now coming out of Wretched Hag. Can they drop it in before he gets out? Bad Blast comes out hitting all 5 players, but Wretched Hag gets taken out. Wretched Hag, excuse me. Wow, sounds like a little baby right there, but Wild Soul's now trying to run away. He drops to half-life. Can he get away? Malphus is chasing him. Doesn't look like they're going to further chase him. He should be fine, but great initiation once again for the Legion team. That's what we were talking about in the pregame. Just the powerful team fight potential, and they didn't even need any other ultimate. That was only the Tempest ultimate. They did use the Hellbringer ultimate after, sure, to stop Wretched Hag and actually get the kill on him, so I guess 2, but they still have 2 more, and Soul Student and Slither at least. He gets his ultimate off, and it is going to be enough to drop Wild Soul, who found it necessary to chase right there. Don't know if that was the best decision. Wild Soul, you need to be able to survive. Keep that farm up. He does take a death for a kill right there, however, and as I said, maybe not worth the sacrifice, but yeah, the team fight from Fnatic MSI, once again, shown right there. Very, very, very good job. Greatly executed, and more importantly, the portal key on Tempest, of course, what we saw right there as well. His farm has been fantastic. No one has been there to stop him. He is actually nearing the 400 gold per minute mark, the top farm in the game right now. Fly, aka Bot, playing this Tempest. So Portal Key, Steam Boots, and Bottle already picked up for him. Again, that's a very, very, very good spot to be. And, you know, something to talk about it as well. Of course, this Hellborn team, you want to be able to lock down that Tempest. But if Tempest gets that Portal Key, they don't have anything that can stop him, unfortunately. At least, let me look real quickly. Yeah, or excuse me, the Shrunken Head. So if he gets that Shrunken Head, good luck stopping that Tempest ultimate. And that's going to be huge for the Legion team.
The Bubbles Minister does actually
doesn't Kelp Field?
Yeah, okay. I knew I was missing something. Yeah, okay, so the ultimate from Bubbles will stop it, okay. So they do got one thing at least that they can rely on.
By the way, nice team fight there, Elmer Fudd. Wretched Hag.
Wretched Hag? Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, a lot of the reason that team fight went down the way it did is just because EG was totally in different places, and the one thing that you really have to worry about when you're running a hero like Wild Soul is that you got to worry about whether or not you're going to get solid procs off of Bear Jalon for that entangle ability. Otherwise, you know, he does struggle a little bit in his ability to CC a hero, as now we see Tempest now try to pour it out here, and he should be relatively successful. So he makes his way out of there, but yeah, I really want to watch how he builds, because there's basically 2 different ways you can build Wild Soul. You can build on the bear, or you can build on the hero. And you know, already Ghost Watcher's picked up on the bear, and Steam Boots picked up on Wild Soul, so that'll help Bear Jalon, you know, basically match the speed of Wild Soul, where eventually if you go any other route, Wild Soul will start to outrun his bear. But, you know, it's still pretty early on. A Mighty Blade is picked up. I'm guessing that we'll probably see Wild Soul go with an early Frostburn type build. Wouldn't surprise me. That seems to be something that's relatively standard, as now we're going to see Trixie perhaps get initiated on. Bubbles porting out, but he's going to continue to use these wards to harass as much as possible. And wow, I mean, it is going to be real difficult if MSI doesn't get these heroes kind of...
Here we go! Soulstealer jumps in! Oh, but it gets silenced immediately! The Kelp Field comes out, hitting all 4 of them! The Bat Blast as well, but just too much damage coming out! They both go down! There's a Tempest ultimate catching Warsayer in the background, and 3 players dead just like that, so not necessarily the greatest executed ultimates. In fact, again, Soulstealer didn't even get his off, but it didn't even matter. Just too much power, too much overwhelming power on Fnatic MSI right now, and this is the gameplay right now for EG. They need a Wild Soul to just get an absolutely crazy farm while somehow turtling enough to keep them out of their base. Look at even Glacius. He's using his ultimate right there to quickly clean up the creep wave, and they want to get this push on this tower. We're only 15.5 minutes in, and the base tower is already taking a lot of pressure. It's going to at least drop to half-life more than likely. They are going to pour it out, though. Bubbles wouldn't dare pour it in there, and the Legion team ports out, knows the damage is done, and they're going to fall back and now pressure somewhere else. So again, we see the Fnatic MSI lineup and see how overwhelming they can be with their team fight potential. And yeah, it's just going to be so tough right now for EG. They definitely have a team that's great for ganks. I mean, if they can somehow catch players on the Legion team, they can catch them off guard and get some nice ganks. That's ideal. But here we go in the middle lane now. Comet coming out. Wins their silver bullet on Tempest. Not enough for the kill though. And Tempest goes down. Only a level 1 silver bullet was not enough for the kill. Rockets coming out. It's going to be enough to kill Glacius. The chase is still on though. At least the bear not going to be enough though. Turning it around. Solstice there actually nukes down Wretched Hag who blinked in there. And wow, Solstice just turned around and landed 2 demon hands in his face and got that kill. So we're all tied up now at 14 hero kills apiece. And that is scary news for EG because again, we're talking about this strategy. They're all about the hero kills. They're all about the ganks and at least having that to their advantage. But now with it tied up and, you know, the top farmer is actually being on the Legion team by a lot, frankly. Soulstealer and Slither both over 400 gold per minute, and Tempest is just about there. I don't think I've ever seen 3 players on a team over 400 gold per minute, and we are very, very, very close to seeing that right here in this game. Just honestly, it's getting to be once again just an overwhelming lead here for Fnatic MSI.
Yeah, Chu probably could have survived that had he not had his steam boost turned to intelligence at the end there. You know, before he actually received the demon hands go down to him. But yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that before that team fight started, is if these heroes on MSI aren't going to be, like, you know, farming by themselves or whatever, it's not going to give EG the chance to pick them off. So MSI is really doing what they need to do in order to counter EG strategy, which is basically keep the push up, keep the harass up, and stick together in a team of 5 at all times. You've got superior team fight capability. You have superior initiation currently, and that's really what EG is struggling with once again, just like last game. They have good initiators. They have Wretched Hag, which is kind of you know, a weaker initiator, but still solid, and then Bubbles, who has strong initiation capability, but they're just not getting the team fight started when they need to start it. They're instead letting Fnatic MSI basically kind of counter gank. You know, like it's like they're baiting someone to initiate on them and then going in after that. So it's like a counter bait, and it's working, you know, so effectively for Fnatic MSI. And EG, like, I just don't know, you know, where they can actually make good things happen here. Witch Slayer trying to catch up to somebody, but they're playing passive when they have to and aggressive when they have to as well.
Oh, Wild Soul caught down here. Solstice ultimate going off on top of the Hellbringer ultimate. It's not enough for the kill though, and nice use of the focus magic right there, but not going to be enough. Focus buffer not enough there from Chipper. Now here comes the turnaround once again. Glacier's ultimate going off, but stopped immediately. But there's a Tempest ultimate catching 2 players at least. Down goes Chipper. Down goes Bubbles. There he goes. 4 players dead. Wretched Hag is still trying to live. Not going to happen though. Genocide for Fnatic MSI, and yet again they do not lose a single player. MSI, they are on their way to sweeping this series 2 games to nothing, and once and for all, you know, stopping the whole debate of, at least after this series, if they continue to move on and win this game right here, which honestly it just looks like that they are. I mean, they're just pressure is just way too intense at this point. Another genocide right there. They will be the #1 team in the world, undisputed, honestly, with a victory, and just the fashion that they did it in. I mean, now this will be the 3rd game in a row that they just really destroyed EG. Never really had that truly epic, you know, comeback game or back and forth. Honestly, all 3 games up to this point at least have just been really one-sided in favor of Fnatic MSI. Deserve all the credit in the world. With that said though, the game is not 100% over. EG still has this middle tower. They still got their other base towers. As long as they have that going for them, you know, they can still feel at least sound, but it's just they're in such a huge hole right now. Already a 16,000 gold disadvantage, 12,000 experience disadvantage, and yeah, like you talked about earlier as well, EG, they're doing a great job, or excuse me, MSI, they're doing a great job of sticking together. But with that said, there have been times where MSI, they've been spread out, they've been in all 3 lanes at once, you know, kind of spread out in that sense. That's where EG needs to capitalize, honestly. I mean, they need to get the roaming on, but unfortunately, it just hasn't happened. They're so intent on wanting to sit back and farm. And, well, it's at this point in the game, sure, you know, arguably they have the better late game team. I mean, that, you know, especially with this Wild Soul, but with the hole that you're in right now, I mean, you got to be able to adapt to the strategy from Fnatic MSI, and it just seems like they're not. They're just going for the sit back and farm game, and I just don't think that's going to be enough. I mean, what about you, Twist? I mean, what do you think EG has to do if they actually want to come back in this game?
Really, there's not much they can do. The problem is that they got semi-outpicked in this game because MSI has too much push right now, and EG doesn't have that much to deal with that, apart from Hag. But as soon as Hag initiates or does anything, he just gets dropped down so fast. I don't know. The only hope right now for them is this Wild Soul, but right now he's not able to do that much on his own.
Yeah, I mean, he isn't. I mean, you look at his items, he has an Ice Brand, that's it. His Bear, does he have, Bear just has Ghost Marchers and an Iron Shield, or Buckler, excuse me. So, yeah, no way he's going to be, and by the way, we now see 3 players over 400 gold per minute. I really do think that's the first time we've ever seen that, here on a Honcast at least. I really can't recall we've ever seen that impressive of a farming performance, really overall by a team. I mean, even Hellbringer, he's over the 300 gold per minute mark. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And when you're seeing that much great farm, I mean, obviously, again, you always look back at the push potential and just the push strategy from the Legion team, and no doubt that is helping it. But again, it goes back to where were the early ganks perhaps on someone like a Tempest? I mean, he was the top farmer in the game. That's honestly not something you would expect. You would at least expect some harassment on him. That wasn't the case, because of maybe the jungling strategy from EG. Sure, they did a great job at the top lane. They killed Glacius quite a bit. But, what is that going to accomplish? They definitely perhaps need to focus more on the important heroes, such as that Tempest, preventing him from getting an early portal key, which no doubt has made a big deal. Maybe more ganks on the Soul Stealer, who obviously has been a huge, huge factor as expected. And, well, it just didn't happen. So, like you said, is as much as you want to still make this a game out to be, and that still is EG in it, I mean, the chances are just looking so grim right now. And we're now 23 minutes in the game. We're only 23 minutes in, I should say. But with already being 5 towers down, you only have the secondary middle tower up in terms of outside of your base. And you go around the Hellborn set, you look at their items, nothing really stands out at you other than that Wild Soul Ice Brand. And I guess now a Puzzle Box actually picked up on Wretched Hag, which is definitely an awesome item. But, it's just, you don't think it could be enough, because you go to the Legion team, we see Soulsty, they're already with the Firebrand, that Shrunken End, and of course that portal key. Tempest, I'm sure he's working on his own portal key. Right now he actually has 3,000 gold saved up, so do the math real quickly. Yeah, you need 2,900 for the Pattern and the Warhammer, so he could actually get it right now, which in fact I believe he just bought as he just spent the gold, so there we go. So he's going to have a Shrunken Head now, as we talked about earlier. The only thing that can stop his ultimate now is that Bubbles ultimate. That's if he's not stuck in the Tempest Ultimate. So there's many factors coming into play here, and it's just clear that, and also you look at Slither, of course. I mean, he's doing his thing, what Trixie always does in Slither, just going his crazy, weird, odd build, and it just works every time. So MSI, well on their way to victory here. Now 24 minutes in. Unless we see sloppy mistakes from them, which it's just hard to say that we're going to see that. You really just have to think that MSI should be on the way to victory here.
Yeah, and the thing is that, we talk about the Wild Soul, and, you talk about who's got the better late game, and, the thing is that Wild Soul is not, he's not Sandwraith, he's not Madman, he's not one of these heroes that's crazy, dominant later on in the game, unless he has a really solid early game. And basically what's happened is just MSI has pushed down these towers too fast for him to really take much of a role in anything. And I have to agree with Twista. It just seems like they got 100% outpicked there when it came to choosing the final hero that they were going to use. As a carry, and it was 100%, I'm sure, on MSI's part, 100% expected to have Glacius die at the top lane, because they were running, basically a 2 versus 3, where it was kind of a pseudo tri lane. Looks like there might be action start here at the middle, so keep an eye out on that. But that pseudo tri lane that they were running, where Wild Soul was kind of in the jungle and out of the jungle every once in a while. Wretched Hag gonna have to blink away from here, trying to avoid any more damage as the focus buffer goes on him, and gonna absorb one of those demon hands. So both teams just kind of scouting each other out with their long-range abilities, trying to see if they can, get a quick pick off and have everyone go in on them. But so I'm sure they were willing to risk that to have basically Tempest farm the jungle uninterrupted. Speaking of Tempest, just take a stun right there. This tower is taken out. Tempest farm uninterrupted there, and then try to push that bottom lane, which they did successfully within the first 10 minutes, or the first 10 minutes. So It might have been sooner than that. It might have been like 7.
I think it was like 7, yeah, around the 7-minute mark. I mean, just the push was just crazy by them. And, yeah, they basically, as you said, I mean, it came down to they executed what they wanted to execute. EG didn't seem to put a, I mean, they did try to put a, it's not that, like, they just said, no, we're just going to let you do what you want to do. By the way, Slither getting caught out right here. They're going to burst him down. And Slither drops right there, despite him being quite tanky. The Hellborn team is able to take him out, so a good combo right there. Slither just left behind and feeling a little bit too confident, perhaps, as his team, of course, was falling back. Maybe just miscommunication there. I mean, he could have baited right there, definitely, but they did not jump in, and so he dies. But not the biggest deal in the world. Like I said, they're going to need many mistakes like that to happen for EG to truly come back in this game at this point in the game. But you never know. I mean, you never know. Anything can happen. Again, I do want to reiterate, this is not the grand finals, guys. This is just the winners bracket finals. So if this happens to stand and MSI does win this, they will place themselves in the grand finals, guaranteeing themselves at least $5,000. But EG, they'll be moved to the losers bracket, where they'll play the winner of SK Gaming versus DWI. The winner of that will then play EG, and then the winner of that series will play, once again, Fnatic MSI in the grand finals. Again, that is if this stands, which, it's kind of hard to say that it will not, but yeah, so right now the game has definitely slowed down quite a bit. I mean, MSI knows this as well. They have an overwhelming advantage at this point. They don't necessarily need to charge into it all crazy and really give that opportunity that EG may is looking for. So instead of kind of just charging in all recklessly and going for the team fight kills, why not just sit back and increase your farm? Soulstealer, he can get his Geometer's Bane fairly shortly, I'm sure. He currently has another double damage rune activated. Seems like he has those all the time. But he's going to sit back, and he's actually now sitting closely to the 500 gold per minute mark. And I believe he just bought something. In fact, let's check on that real quick. Let's check his stash.
He bought Geometers.
There it is. So he's got his Geometers. And yeah, I mean, Twista, do you think MSI, they necessarily need to aggressively push right now? Is this wrong for them to do? Sit back like this and kind of farm, or are you fine with this strategy?
The strategy that they've been running the entire game is applying pressure on the bottom lane and the middle lane, and it's worked for them so well. That's why they put Glaciers and Hellbringer at top, because they're not heroes that depend on farm. Right now, what they're probably going to do is gather up, pick off someone, and just push for that Rax. And I think that's the best thing they could do right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get that set of racks. I mean, that just really starts to overwhelm the opposing team in terms of pressure put on. And I mean, with that said, EG is still yet to even really touch a tower themselves, let alone get a tower kill. The bottom tower and mid tower, I guess they've taken a little bit of damage. So all towers have taken some damage, but obviously without any tower kills compared to the 6 already from MSI, that's definitely just another huge problem for different reasons. Starting with, of course, the gold advantage to then just the where you can port to and just the map awareness and everything. It does look like, as you're just touching on Twista, they're going to look to overextend and push this bottom lane right here. We have the Hellborn team setting up as much turtle defense as possible. Definitely expect that Chipper ultimate to come out shortly and cause some harassment there, although he's out of mana. He's going to go back and get some regen, so this tower is easily going to drop right there. And now they're working on the racks, of course. Again, Geometer's Bane on Soulstealer, so he has that Diaz to keep this pressure up if need be. In the meantime, while still pushing the top tower, he actually gets a top tower kill, so they finally got a tower themselves. But again, at what cost situation? He was not here. He now ports in. Are they going to look to defend these towers truly, or these racks, or will they just let them go down? Here come the puzzle box. I mean, there's just so many wards, though, from Trixie on Slither. Dear God, there's just so much spamming that E button, and it's so difficult to deal with those. Thank God they nerfed that to 2 instead of 3. Back when it used to be 3, it'd be way too powerful like it was. But no, he's still doing a good job of placing those wards. And EG, I mean, really just doing all they can do. If they initiate first, I mean, they can't. That's the problem. Again, as we talked about, Bubbles is a really powerful initiator, but if he uses his ultimate to initiate with, then they won't have it to stop the Tempest ultimate. So it's just a huge mind game right now for EG. They want to do so many things, but they just can't because they can be countered from Fnatic MSI. So they're forced to just really sit in the base, pound on the creep wave, prevent the racks from going down as much as possible. But it's just, you got to figure it's just going to be a losing effort. I mean, right now, Retrodad got in front. He takes a poison spray right there. He knows he can blink away, but he drops to half life. I mean, just little damage coming out, but it's enough to drop him that far. they're doing a great job of defending the tower, like I said. Oh, here comes Solsky, then they're going to drop Witchslayer just like that on top of the Hellbringer ultimate as well. 5 vs 4 fight right now in favor of Fnatic MSI. Wretched Egg blinks in. What is he thinking? He wants the Glacius kill. What are you doing, Jew? What are you doing, buddy? He goes down for it. He tried to get off his ultimate. It wasn't going to happen. The melee Rax is going to go down. It looks like EG, they're at the point of they know that they're on their heels. They need to have something happen. And well, as a result, playing a little bit sloppy there. And it looks like Fnatic MSI, they're going to clean up, and they are going to be victorious and move on to the grand finale. EG, there's just nothing they can do against this powerful, powerful team fight and team push potential. Tempest still has all of his cooldowns ready. Slither still has all of his cooldowns ready. It's just going to be overwhelming here.
Yeah, this is exactly what EG did not want to happen, which is basically let somebody get picked off. And it's like I said before, they really needed to be the initiators, but they waited too long to really force these team fights, or at least respond to the team pushes that MSI was putting forward when they still had an advantage, no matter how small it was. And they let them take these early towers, they let them get the early farm, and that really made a huge difference. I mean, watch how Witchslayer just melts to the ground right there. Meanwhile, Wretched Hag is back in here, maybe trying to make something happen. Looking for a good place to use the ultimate. That would have been a perfect place right there. But they got to wait for all the cooldowns to come down. He's going to use it, and they go down. And they don't have to blink away as Bubbles just melts into the ground. So it's just the two of them left. All still 5 heroes still up for Fnatic MSI. They're going to be able to take out the middle melee racks, and the ranged racks are a little bit of pressure on them from just the wards, but probably not going to. There's no real reason for them to back off. I mean, they're in a good position right now. Wretched Hag blinking in, trying to put a little more harassment on Solstice. Solstice finally going to pour it out, make his way back to base. See if Wretched Hag decides to go in anymore. Going to go in on Hellbringer, but it's not going to matter. He TP's out as well. And yeah, I mean, it's just Fnatic MSI is just, they just played so dominantly. They really played to kind of counter EG's strategy the entire time, and it worked out 100%. So Slither actually gets taken out there with a silver bullet from Fuji Apples, and yeah, but it's just, I don't know, there's not a whole lot you can say after just watching this pure domination from Fnatic.
Oh, Witchslayer! Oh, it's not going to be now. That would have sucked if he died walking back to the Slither wards, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much over. I mean, EG, of course, they know that this is it. Why not just stand in there, see what you can make happen? But it's pretty clear at this point that, in fact, there we go. GG well play comes out from Chu, and it looks like that should technically be the official right there. As Solsty there, why the hell not? He jumps right on top of Chipper, nukes him down. There's a vote to concede, and Fnatic MSI, they are your winners here. And they are now in the grand finale of this GosuGamers tournament. It's what everyone expected, honestly. The favorites, both them and EG. Right now, MSI, at least, they secure their spot. And they will guarantee themselves at least $5,000. Now, here's the good thing for Fnatic MSI. You know, as we talked about earlier, EG, they have to play now the winner of SK Gaming versus DWI to try to come back and meet in the grand finals. But if that does happen, no matter who faces MSI, frankly, in the grand finals, actually, they will have to beat MSI in two best out of three series. So basically, becomes, they have to beat them twice in two best out of three series. And where MSI, they only need to win one best out of three series to take home that $10,000 grand prize. So MSI in a very, 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 very good spot now to take home the $10,000 grand prize. But it is not over. I cannot say that enough, guys. This was just the winners bracket finals. The grand finals will be coming up, in the next couple of weeks or so. I don't know if it's scheduled yet or when they plan to have it, but of course we will be on top of covering that like we have all throughout this great GosuGamers tournament sponsored by Steel Series. So it's been a lot of fun. We're finally getting down. We have 4 teams in total remaining. Still have 4 teams. Of course, we'll cover every single series from here on out. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait to get this whole thing finished. But as far as today goes, MSI defeats EG in, frankly, just dominating fashion. They are, as far as I'm concerned, honestly, unarguably the #1 team in the world right now with the performance they had here tonight, as well as last weekend's performance. Congratulations to MSI. They put themselves in a great spot. But final thoughts here on the match here, Phil?
Well, I don't think anybody expected it. Well, I should say anyone who watches a lot of competitive HON or is involved in the scene expected it. They may have expected MSI to win, but and not in this fashion. Not 3 times in a row now. They just completely dominated every single game. And they've done it in a different fashion every time. So, it's like I said, it's like we've said 100 times, it's basically you can't ban enough heroes to stop Fnatic MSI from being a super dominant team. And really, after watching this game, you have to think about, what do you think teams like DWI and SK are thinking about EG right now with the game this next game coming up. Obviously, they have to play each other, but the winner of that is going to have to play against EG in the losers bracket finals. And you have to be thinking, are these guys now maybe a little bit more confident of their abilities to beat a team like EG, who really had a lot of that going for them. They had a lot of scare factor involved, and they look very vulnerable right now. So there's a lot. I think we could be seeing a lot of changes in the competitive scene here as far as teams 2 through 5 are concerned. Overall in the top 10.
Twisto, your final thoughts here?
I don't want to say it again, but like I've said in the past, MSI are on a totally different level. I mean, Bot does an extremely amazing job at coming up with strategies and lineups, and I mean, he's proven himself again in the last 3 games where they've played EG, who is, by no doubt, probably the best team in the US. Apart from that, MSI did what they do best, win.
Yeah, they did. And I think you made a good point there. It's, EG, as far as I'm concerned, and even though these performances were frankly disappointing, I'm sure to a lot of people, but both EG and US fans in general, they still are a very, very good team, of course. And, at this point, I still think you can still say that they're the number 1 team in the U.S. scene, like you stated. I still don't think that's in question by any means. And, we'll get an idea of that once again in the losers bracket finals when they play either the winner of DWI or SK, which, of course, are both U.S. teams. But, yeah, this really did kind of shift the momentum in a lot of things. As I said, this was a big matchup. We had nearly 5,000 viewers tuning into this, by the way. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Really do appreciate that. And definitely, hopefully, you guys enjoyed the matches, as well as hopefully we made it exciting for you. But yeah, EG, no doubt they still are a very, very competitive team, but Philly brought up a good point as well. This could, make teams like SK, like DWI, like ICE, maybe EG isn't honestly as crazy as we made them out to be. These unstoppable heroes, these unstoppable team of just the greatness factor. There are ways to beat them, may give them more confidence to some of those other teams, and we'll see what happens. As far as 2 through 5 is concerned, I still think number 2 deserves to be EG, but you definitely expect a lot of things to change in the future, I'm sure. But yeah, that's always good to see. Just great competition coming out. Go ahead.
Real quick, just want to give a little plug. We are still running our competition on Honcast. It's basically, do you guys know what the GosuGamers outcome is going to be? Can you predict who's going to win? Right now, you have the opportunity to win a SteelSeries HON Edition QCK mousepad by going to fileplay.net/channel/Honcast. You'll see a little link to it on the right-hand side. And go ahead and give us your predictions on who you think is going to win, and the final game time used as a tiebreaker. And we got a lot of I believe it's 5 of those mousepads that are going to go out. So everybody, make sure you get over there and take a look.
I thought we closed those before this, to be honest, but if it's still going on, it's still going on though. But yeah, so definitely check that out though. That is it's a good.
Well, it's for teams 1, 2, and 3. So
yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. All right, so yeah, check it out. Again, go to our fileplay.net/channel/Honcast. Honcast.com. It should start redirecting there shortly. Again, we're still getting that worked on. But yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, @ us Honcast, again, for updates and everything. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Tomorrow is the Game Replays tournament coverage, where a lot of people are suggesting we're going to see these same 2 teams in the final. Who knows? But they both are in that tournament, and yeah, it should be a great event like it always is. Game Replays are really good at running awesome tournaments, and I always look forward to watching those tournaments every single Sunday. So look forward to that one tomorrow, so definitely tune in for that. For today, though, of course, we are finished. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And as always, stay tuned to Honcast.com for much, much more coverage. Game Replays coverage tomorrow.